Let's talk a little bit about Tua Tagovailoa taking on the Miami Dolphins. It's the second time he'll face Aaron Rodgers. The last time was Christmas Day 2 years ago when Tua got a concussion that nobody knew he got a concussion until the next day when Tua showed up. They're like, something's wrong with Tua. It was just a weird moment. He hit his head falling down, and no one even spotted it in real time. And, again, it was the next day they saw it. He'll face Aaron Rodgers this weekend. The Jets are coming to Miami. Here's Tua on whether he's surprised that the Dolphins are 5-7 through 12 games.
I don't think that shows the character of who we are as a team. Doesn't show the work that we've put in this offseason together. But, nobody else will say it but me. And I feel like this has a lot to do with myself, obviously putting myself in harm's way in the second game, going down, basically leaving my guys out to dry. That's what I would say. And anyone can have an opinion about, like, it's football, it's this, it's that. I do take heart to that as well. And just don't want to do that to my guys again.
But you know what? That's good. Because if you're not going to play the game in a safer fashion for your own well-being, long-term and short-term, because he had this, remember when he came back from the concussion, Michael, there was this machismo and bravado. But now that you've seen the connection, wait a minute, I'm not available to help my team win. It's a selfless act at that point. It's an act of service to your franchise. It's not a mark of cowardice or a lack of courage. This is, I'm doing what I have to do to be available. And that's all we've ever said. That's all I've ever said. Yeah, you want to protect yourself, but at a basic level, you're not available to play if you get yourself blown up when you don't need to be dropping your head into someone's chest trying to gain extra yardage that isn't going to be a touchdown or a first down. So good that he's finally realized the link between playing smart and being available to play at all.
This comment from Tua, I got to be honest with you, Mike. This comment makes me feel like I'm back in school and trying to diagram sentences or trying to just analyze just a particular sentence or a passage or something. Because when I read it, I initially read the transcript of him saying that. Then I looked at the video, and my conclusion is, I'd like a follow-up question. Because it sounds like he's saying, you could say it's that one interpretation is, I put myself in harm's way on the football field, and my team had to pay for it. Or another way of looking at it, and this is where I just got stuck, and maybe I'm just overthinking it, I think he's saying getting hurt. I got hurt and I let my team down. Not that I'm going to play differently, but I got hurt and I let my team down. Because he didn't. He came back and he put himself in harm's way again. Right after he came back, he lowered his head and tried to make a tackle. Was that on an interception?
True.
One of these plays.
True.
So
yep, you're right.
I think he is. And the reason I really was just overthinking this thing, going down the rabbit hole of, okay, what did Tua mean by this? Because when he said, nobody else will say this, I'll say it. It's almost like I'm blaming myself for being hurt because my team struggled with Snoop Huntley and Skylar Thompson and Tim Boyle and all these guys. I give us the best chance to win at the quarterback position, and we wouldn't be in this position if I hadn't gotten hurt. That's why I would have asked. It's like, are you saying you won't play like that anymore, or are you really are you down on yourself because you just got hurt? Like, what do you mean? I just want a little bit more clarification from him.
He says, I don't want to do that to my guys again, but I agree with you. It's possible to interpret what he said as not recognizing the connection between why he missed those games and what he needs to do to be available in the future. But I view it as, and maybe he'll get asked to follow up after the game this week, who knows, but I view it as him recognizing reluctantly that he does need to tailor his game to prevent that. But don't go diving in head first to try to make a tackle after an interception. Yeah, I mean, he hasn't gotten another concussion. To me, the proof is in the outcome, but it's not like he's you know, I remember the first game back, he slid and they broke out in big applause for him. But, yeah, I mean, he gets caught up in the moment. And that's the thing. It's one thing for him to talk about this in a press conference setting, but guys just get caught up in the moment. They're aggressive, they're competitive, and they do what they think they need to do in that split second where you don't have time to think about it. And I don't know, maybe it's a longer play where he's trying to rewire his brain, but at least he understands the connection between playing with reckless abandon and abandoning his teammates.
Yeah, and you can see here, he has been really good since coming back. I mean, I thought they were done. Their quarterback play, because I saw one of their first games without Tua, or a couple of games without Tua. They played the Patriots here at Gillette Stadium. And the Patriots, if not for a receiver stepping out of bounds, getting his foot down, a la Isaiah Likely in the opener in Kansas City, if a receiver gets his foot down in the back of the end zone, the Patriots beat the Dolphins, the Snoop Huntley Dolphins. Their offense looked completely different, but Tua has been magical back there. I mean, you see the record. And you also see the performance. Look at the passing touchdown. So if we were having conversations about Tua's contract before, that's not a conversation anymore. Tua has earned the contract for the Miami Dolphins. Nobody else on their roster comes even close. They don't even come. They're not even 50% or 30% of what Tua is. So he has been really a season saver for them. Without him, this thing is done. Without him, they're like the Jets and Patriots. They're that team. They're that bad without him.
And Michael, when he first started down that path of no one else will say this, but I will, my mind started to go to the idea that what he's trying to say is nobody else can play this position here like I can. But others are saying that. Maybe he just kind of inartfully was saying, this is going to sound immodest, and maybe I shouldn't be saying this, right? But it's clear in that offense, he's the only guy that can do that Globetrotters hidden ball trick, where shell game, 3-card money that is fun to watch, no-look passes. Now, it doesn't travel well to Green Bay in the cold, but it works in Miami, and the Jets are going to have their hands full, but he's the only guy that can do it. I thought it was a matter of reps, but these other guys are getting reps. These other guys can't do it. He's the only one who can do it, and there's something to be said for being able to manipulate a defense with that kind of stuff that we see from maybe Patrick Mahomes. Maybe Mahomes and nobody else. And that's a skill that helps justify the contract they've given it to him. But the other way to justify that contract, Michael, you got to be available to play. And I think at the core, I agree with you. They should have fleshed it out a little bit more. But at the core, I think he's finally acknowledged, even if it doesn't show up in the play yet, he's finally acknowledged he's got to take very seriously his obligation to his teammates to be available, and that includes protecting himself at all costs on a football field.
Yeah, I think they'll do fine in this game against the Jets, and they're still trying to get into the playoffs, but that's for the players. The front office, shame on them if they're not doing this right now. Free agency starts now for the Miami Dolphins. They should be scanning and scouring the market for the very best backup quarterback just in case, because they're fortunate that Tua came back. When we first saw that injury, we first saw that concussion, I thought he may be out for the season. And that conversation about will he play football again was legitimate, and it took a while for him to come back. So the Dolphins can't put themselves in this position again. They should find the best backup quarterback who can do that same thing. Don't just get somebody on the roster who makes sense, who is it's a good financial value. No, you got to overpay. The Dolphins have to overpay for a backup because it's such a specific skill set that Mike McDaniel was looking for, and nobody else on that roster can do it except for Tua.
And here's why that's important. You don't want two playbooks. You don't want the playbook for the starter and the playbook for the backup, because that puts stress on the other 10 guys, especially the skill position guys. We're running the offense a certain way with Tua. Tua's out, and now we're running a different offense entirely because the other guy can't do what Tua does. And now that they've paid Tua, because I feel like at times, and this was part of the post-Brian Flores, whoever's right, whoever's wrong, whatever went down, whoever it was obsessed with getting Deshaun Watson on the team and putting Tua overboard. I feel like part of the Mike McDaniel approach has been to go out of the way to prop Tua up. You know, when they picked up his fifth-year option, it's like, should they really be picking up his fifth-year option? But they did. They give him the big contract. And I think they have to, at some point, get Tua to understand it's not a threat to you if we bring in somebody who can do what you do. Good luck finding someone like that. We're going to find someone, and we're going to teach them to do what you do because you have a history of not being available. So, yeah, there's a way to do it that actually gets Tua even more determined to play the game in a way that makes sure he's available. But that's what they need to do. And he can't be upset about it because they made a firm 3-year massive financial commitment to him. He can't be upset if they find a Tua clone, if there is one out there. We know there's a DeMar Hamlin clone. Can we find a Tua clone to come in? I'm kidding, obviously, I think. A Tua clone to come in and run that offense if he's not available. And hope you never need the guy. That's the paradox. You get a guy who can run the offense the way Tua does, and you're more likely to never need him.
You said it right, Mike. They can do it now because they paid him. Imagine asking Tua Tagovailoa, contract situation uncertain. Hey, we just want you to do, we were thinking about it. We were just talking in the conference room. We want you to, bring a quarterback in and just teach him everything that you know about the offense, and we'll talk about the contract later. Don't worry about it. He'd say, get the hell out of here. But he's got the contract. He's secure. He's the guy there. And he knows if he has to go out for any reason, let's say it's not a concussion. We're talking so much about Tua and his unavailability at times. We assume that maybe it's an high ankle sprain, whatever it is. The offense just can't be grounded when he's gone. They need somebody who can really do that thing.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.